What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another Black Ops 1 Zombies Reimagined video. Today we are going to be going over the rest of the game mode changes and also map specific changes that only affect versus game modes, which are any of the game modes besides regular survival. I've categorized them all into a category called versus modes, or competitive modes if you want to call them that. But a few things I forgot to mention in the last video. The first one was a good comment question that I got from the previous video, and that's if 8 players is going to be added, or if it's even allowed currently on the current Black Ops 1 Reimagined. And the answer is currently no, but maybe eventually yes. It's a very low probability. I'll have to do a lot of engine changes, and that's completely different from most of the changes I made from Black Ops 1 Reimagined, so it'll take a lot of work to do, and that's even if it's possible. I'm still not even 100% sure if getting 8 players to work in Black Ops 1 Zombies is even possible, but it definitely is a goal of mine, but it's pretty far down on the to-do list because it's gonna take so much effort. So yeah, unfortunately we only have 4 players right now. And another thing I forgot to address is that on maps where the box spawns randomly, such as Kino, 5, what other maps do we have? Call of the Dead, Shang and Moon. The box can actually spawn in the first room now, but that's only for grief, non-survival obviously. And now on to the additional game modes. So like I just discussed, there's no 8 players in grief currently, so a game mode that I added that works a lot better for 4 players is free-for-all grief. It's a lot funner since we only have 2v2 for regular grief right now. So the alternative to that, if you want it to be a little bit more hectic and crazy, you can play free-for-all grief where you're against everyone. It has the exact same rules as grief, except for you bleed out instantly if you down. There's no bleed out time because there's no one to revive you, so there's no point. So you instantly go into spectator mode, and if the other players survive the round, you do respawn. So it works just like normal grief, except everyone's on their own team and there's no reviving and no bleed out time. Alright, now the next game mode we have is one that I've decided to call Search and Resurrect. And this is the game mode you want to play if you like custom games grief on Black Ops 2, where you start at round 20 and you just keep restarting the game over and over for fun, just because it's really fast-paced and competitive. This will be the game mode for you. I've made a game mode just for that. So there's no option to set the starting round and like magic off and stuff like there was on BO2. It's all the same settings all across the board. There's nothing to change besides the game mode, and that's the way I want it for now. But for Search and Resurrect, this will be the game mode for all you really competitive grief players. So you might see it says round 1, but that round 1 is not the zombies round number. There's unlimited zombies, unlimited power-ups. The zombies have 2,000 health, which is about round 17. It's in between round 17 and 18 health. And you start off with 5,000 points each round. And the objective here, how you win a round, is once all the other players on the enemy team have died. By the way, it is teams for now. I could possibly make a free-for-all version of this, but I don't want to end up making a free-for-all version of every game mode just because there would be way too many game modes. So this is a 2v2 survival for now. And the way you win a round, well, first of all, it's first to 3 rounds wins, and the way you win a round is you get the enemy team down, and then you have to kill whatever zombies are on the map, and then the round will restart and you will get a win. And if both teams die, like what happens right now since I'm the only team here, the round just restarts and no one gets a point. And you can see the point counter in the top left, or very top of the screen. You have your team and then the enemy team on the right. So it's unlimited zombies, unlimited spawns until a full team dies, and then what will happen is whatever zombies on the map will stay on the map, but no more additional zombies will start spawning. And what you have to do is just kill the rest of the zombies that are spawned in on the map, and you will get a win. The reason why you don't get a win instantly is because you could do some really cheap strats if it was set up that way. You could trap someone in a corner and have them go down first, even if you die just a second after, and then you would still get the win. So you do have to survive and kill whatever zombies are left on the map, just so that there's no cheap strategies that people do. It keeps it more competitive, actually. And yeah, after each round you will go up to 5,000 points if you had less than 5,000 points. If you had more than 5,000 points when the round restarts, you will keep those points. And you do keep your guns between rounds too. You don't keep your perks though. So it acts just like a round restart basically, but you get points back if you don't have that many points. Just so that people can buy Jug or get a weapon if they're completely out of ammo. And there's only sprinting zombies, no walkers, no runners, only sprinters. So just like playing on a high round. And the zombie, the zombie spawn delay. So the zombie spawn delay on round 1 is 2 seconds. On here it's 0.5 seconds. So it's 4 times faster than the spawn rate that the game starts off with. So it is pretty fast. It's not quite as fast as the highest spawn rate you can get in the game, but if it was the highest spawn rate, it would be just a little too fast, so it's slightly below that. So yeah, I think people are really going to like this game mode. This will definitely be the most competitive game mode out of all of them. And on each round restart, you do get 2 additional claymores and grenades, so don't be afraid to use those on any given round, because you will always get them on the next round. And then one additional change that only applies to Shang and Moon for Search and Resurrect is that there's unlimited Napalm and Shrieker zombies that can spawn, and also unlimited Cosmonauts that can spawn on Moon. But only one at a time. There's not unlimited that can be spawned in on the map at once, but let's say once the Napalm or Shrieker spawns and then you kill it, another one can spawn right away. So that you don't just get one for the entire game and then that's it. You'll keep getting the Napalms and Shriekers to make it much more competitive. Alright, now on to the next game mode, which is called Race. Now this game mode is for people who like Grief, but they also like, they play more like survival. They don't really try to down people. And so the objective in this game mode is actually kills, zombie kills, not downs, getting people down. So the first team, it is a team-based game, and the first team to 250 kills wins. And the rounds work kind of like No Man's Land style rounds, but a little bit slower. So there's unlimited zombies, but the zombies do start off at round 1 health. The number you see on the bottom is the correct round health. And then every 45 seconds, the round number goes up until it reaches round 20. And then after round 20, round 20 will play for 45 seconds, just like every other mode, and if no one's reached the 250 kills by round 20, the end of round 20, then the game will end and whoever had the most kills wins. So that way the game doesn't go on forever. Before I had it so that the round would just keep going up, but then you would get into some really high rounds and you couldn't even kill the zombies, and the game would just go on forever. So here we have Race, and kills from traps do count as kills now, so they do count also in this game mode. So I can kill the Napalm right here too, and all the kills from him will count towards my kills in this game mode as well. So you can do some interesting strategies, use traps to your advantage. There's actually a lot of strategy that goes into this game mode, more than you might think, because you want to be in the area that has the most spawn points. Not the fastest spawns, but the most. And you basically just want to control as much of the map as you can without the enemy taking the kills. And on each time the round number goes up, you do gain 500 points. The reason why you gain 500 points when the round goes up is because I did some initial testing without that. And let's say if someone goes down at the very beginning of the game, because you lose points when you're down, and it just ends up in this endless cycle of you not having enough points to buy a weapon or get any perks or anything, and you're pretty much just screwed for the whole game. So it's basically like a handicapped option for just people who aren't getting enough points, but it also helps progress the game too, because normally you barely even get enough points throughout the game to pack punch. or get any perks really, so it helps speed up the game by allowing you to get a few more items that you wouldn't have been able to normally get without those additional points. So it just overall fits the game mode a lot better. It's a fast-paced game mode, but not as fast-paced as Search and Resurrect. It's like in between Grief and Search and Resurrect, so it's a little casual but competitive at the same time. Alright, now we are going to move on to Gun Game, a game mode that probably most of you know by now, and you've probably seen it in other custom zombie maps, but the way I've done Gun Game is quite a bit different. So for one, you can still grief people in any of these game modes. Actually, you can still knife and shoot your enemies to down them, but only in actual grief mode. And I suppose Search and Resurrect too. It's the primary objective. In Race and Gun Game, you can shoot or knife your enemies, but it's obviously not your primary objective. And in here, we also have unlimited zombies. We also have unlimited ammo since you only have your one weapon. You don't want to run out of ammo in that. And it is free for all, and quick revives disabled, and obviously wall weapons are disabled, the mystery box is disabled, and meal kicks disabled since you can't get any additional weapon. The zombies have 2,000 health, same as in Search and Resurrect. There's actually a 2-second zombie spawn delay in here, which is the same as round 1. It's a little bit of a slower game mode, so the zombies aren't coming at you as fast. And you get auto revived after 10 seconds. That actually goes for Race too, Race and Gun Game. You get automatically revived after 10 seconds. And in Gun Game, you obviously win by getting to the last weapon. There's 20 weapons, and yeah, and the way you actually progress through the weapons is pretty very unique. It's really cool actually. It's a little bit different than probably what you've seen in the normal Zombies Gun Game, and in my opinion, it's way better. So I will show you that right now. So once you have killed 10 zombies, the 10 zombies with the weapon that you're holding, that is, if you do get grenades, but if you use the grenades to kill a zombie, it doesn't count as a Gun Game kill. And same with melee kills too, those don't count. But once you've killed 10 zombies, the last zombie will drop this weapon power-up, which is your gun increment power-up. You don't automatically increment to your new weapon, you have to pick up the power-up, which to me makes perfect sense in zombies since power-ups are already in the game. And there we go, we got our second gun increment power-up. And also if we down, or we get downed, we will go back a weapon. That's how you go back a weapon. So you can actually go ahead and try to grief people, and if you get them down, you'll make them decrement a weapon. So now I'm back down to the Python, and we gotta work our way back up. And for the power-up, only the player that killed the zombie can see and pick up the power-up. So the power-up's only visible to you, and it's only for you. No one else can take it. It's just for you. So you don't gotta worry about people coming in and taking your gun increment drop, because it's physically not possible, and mentally. You can also pack punch your weapon actually, and the kills will count towards your gun increment power up. But once you grab the new weapon will be unpack punch. So the pack punch only lasts for your current weapon, so you really only want to pack punch in Gun Game if you really have the extra points to do it, because otherwise it's going to be a waste that you should have bought towards the perks or something. There isn't any weapons you can buy, so your points are pretty limited to what you can buy, so that's why I decided pack punch should be an option, because once all the doors are open and you have 4 perks, that's really the only other thing you can buy in Gun Game. So there's also a new power-up that's only in Gun Game, and it's also only on maps that have pack punch. And no, this is not the bonfire style power-up. This is the upgrade weapon power-up, which lasts for 30 seconds, and it will upgrade whatever weapon you have. And even if you pick up a new weapon, that weapon will also be upgraded. But once the 30 seconds are up, it will put you back on the unupgraded weapon. And also on the top of the HUD, we also have the weapon number you are currently on the left, and your name. And the enemy player, who is either the highest player or the second highest player, depending on if you are the highest player. If you're the highest player, then it shows the second highest player, otherwise it shows the number 1 highest player. and then it shows what rank they are, what weapon rank they're on to. Alright, now let's go over the map specific changes that only affect the maps in Grief and other versus game modes. So there's only one change on Kino, and that's, well, obviously the power's on, so this area is already open. I don't consider that a change since the power being on automatically does that, and we've already discussed that the power is on Grief. But the main change is that the teleporter on Kino is automatically linked, and you can use it each time without having to link it. The only thing you have to do is wait on the 90-second cooldown, and then it'll be active again. So it works more like the Darius teleporters, but even those you have to initially link. So on here you don't even have to initially link it, it's just ready right away from the start. So Darius has a really cool startup effect, and that's because it's linking all the teleporters to begin with, and that causes the pack punch to already be open. And what I've decided to do is one power-up always spawns guaranteed at the beginning of a match on Darius. One random power-up. So all the teleporters are already linked, and if we use the teleporter, we'll get a little surprise. Two surprises actually. One, dogs are guaranteed to spawn each time. The amount of dogs is 2 times however many players are in the match. So for solo it's only 2, but if you were playing a 4-player match it would be 8 dogs. And you're also guaranteed a power-up too every time, so you're guaranteed a power-up and dogs. So this can really mess people over, and if you have the points to buy the teleporter on an early round, I would highly advise doing it, because the dogs also actually have their full health, which they normally wouldn't get till about like round 15. So these are some round 15 dogs, and if you can get those to spawn at like round 6 before players have bought any weapons or something, you could easily down people. So in 5 we also have a couple changes. The first change is that the zombies can spawn from all 6 barriers in the first room. They don't pick and choose between the 4 randomly. And we also have the top floor door already open here. And also, as you can tell, the teleporters are disabled. Since the pack punches, the power is already on, that would mean that the teleporter would already be on from the beginning. And if I had teleporters on, that would just mean you could go anywhere in 5 from the very beginning of the match, since the teleporter's in the very first room. So it's just better to disable the teleporters completely. Also, that makes it so you can legitimately do the elevator trapping strategy, which is really fun, and the players will have nowhere to escape to. Unless you're doing it on the middle floor here, they could use the other elevator if no one else is blocking it. But yeah, you gotta watch out for them elevator trappers on 5. And the next change, which is pretty cool, this is now a buyable door to pack punch. It costs 1500 points, and then the pack punch is always open once you've opened it. You don't need to switch the defcons or anything. We're already on defcon 5, as you can see. And yeah, you just gotta buy that, 1500 points, simple as that, and then you have pack punch open for the rest of the game. Now on Ascension, the landers are actually disabled. And when you start off the match, you actually don't start off in the lander, you just start off in the spawn room, just like how you would on any other map, since they are disabled. Also on Ascension, we have the 2 first room doors already open, and then we also have the door above Jug open and the door to the MP5 open. So quite a big part of the map's open, but Ascension is a pretty big map, and I didn't want too many doors to be open on this map. Call of the Dead, on the other hand, is a map where you do have to open a lot of doors, so, and I kept it that way for Grief. But I want each map to have its own feel, and Call of the Dead and Ascension were kind of getting too much of a similar feeling with the amount of doors you had to open, so that's why Ascension is a little bit more open. Ascension's the open map. And Ascension also got the same treatment that 5 did, where the pack punch door is now a 1500 point openable door, and then you've got Pack Punch open for the rest of the game. So the only change that Call of the Dead got was that the director now, instead of spawning a Wonder Waff and a free perk when he dies, he now spawns 2 random power downs instead. So for Shangri-La, if you didn't see earlier, the Pack Punch stairs are already open, and they're open for the whole game. They are not timed, they are permanent. And also an interesting thing, the geyser in the first room is automatically open from the start of the match. So you have the first room and also this little cave to go in from the beginning, because the spawn room in Shang by itself is just a little too small for Grief. Grief is supposed to be a little bit more open, so you have both of these areas to start off with now, and you can choose which area you want to be in. Also, there's no monkeys that come mid-round to grab your power-ups, and the minecart is also disabled. On Moon, we have quite a few changes. The first one being that No Man's Land is completely disabled. You just start off the game in the first room on Moon, and also the first room doors open, so you have all this area open. I know people like messing around and playing No Man's Land Grief on normal BO1, where you just see who can out-survive the other player, but realistically, No Man's Land is kind of a bad place for Grief because there's no weapons, you only got 1 perk, only got Pack Punch and 1 perk. So there's not really much to do. You need a fully fleshed out map for it to really work with Grief. And also there's no PES and Hacker. Well, the PES is disabled and you can automatically breathe in here. So it's like you already have the PES mask on, so you don't have to pick it up. And also the windows are indestructible in Grief just because people just explode them right away at the start of the match just to troll. It's just too easy of a Grief tactic for it to be allowed, you know. The doors would just be breached every match. Alright, so on Shi No Numa we have the whole center hut available to you. Not just the first room, but the actual whole first room hut. So all the areas to the 4 huts are still closed, but you have this whole middle area to move around in. Alright, and on Nacht we actually have all the doors open, so there's not a single door you have to buy. Nacht is very bare bones at its core, so I've made it even more bare bones for Grief. So all you gotta do is hit the box. Stupid box. Alright, so that will do it for this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.